Fucking hell, you say Kalara's gonna come in and she's here already. Jesus Christ, Hello everybody, welcome to the All Random All Podcast, starring me, Viktor. That's right, Viktor, the best Viktor, the real Viktor, and definitely the only Viktor you should be listening to. And today we have a rather interesting episode this week, represented, of course, by a blank screen of himself, is, of course, BMG.
I can't talk, guys.
Okay. Represented by a blank screen of himself is also Mr. Modbro.
Mm-hmm. I think he is actually a frozen screen.
He might be a frozen screen. Hang on.
Fine.
Stop. Out.
Hey, guys.
Out.
Bye. Ah. It's a bit rude.
It was. And, of course, represented by himself, as per usual, his production manager, Mr. Tribal Mind.
All our peoples. And
this week, Scott has been fired from the show, so goodbye, Scott. Much appreciated for all your hard work. You will be ripped in pepperonis. And of course, we have a very special guest this week. Probably one of the best guests we've ever had on this show. I hope, and I need a bit of assistance to actually introduce this guest.
God, here we go. Not again. Wonder who it is.
This week's special guest is, of course, Viktor Pradley. Hello, everybody. My name is Viktor, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Rap Podcast, starring me, Viktor. Yeah, Viktor. Viktor is the guest this week, everyone. I hope you're really happy with that.
Oh, yay! Okay, we need to talk about these transitions. Meant to go off camera and come back on as a person. And not just go, I'm Viktor.
No, it's okay. There's gonna be a number of hat changes this week. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Actually, we have a much different guest. I swear my intros get worse and worse every time I do them. By the way,
pretty much.
I'm gonna have to sub someone else in to start doing them. This week we have the legendary hero of the Furballd podcast, Viktor. Woo! Yay! No, it's actually Mr. Killick.
Hi there, I've managed to achieve this beautiful Tumblr sepia effect by purchasing the absolute worst camera I could possibly find. Just for you guys.
I'm liking the green tone you've got going on there.
Kind of a dying baby poo yellow or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's just stuck in the Fallout 3 world.
Yeah, that's exactly fucking it.
I'm happy with that.
I love it.
So, I kind of, because your camera's so bad, what are you actually drinking out of this mason glass with a handle?
I'm drinking, can't even fucking see the label, Monteith's black beer.
Black beer?
Oh, lovely.
Tonight. Never had that before, trying something different tonight.
Oh, okay.
I've never even heard of that before.
It's because you probably only heard of 4X. Just saying.
No, he's an Melbourneite. He's a VB.
I don't actually know where Monteith's is brewed, so...
Perth, I believe.
New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Yeah, Weymouth.
Filthy traitor. Well, thanks for coming on the show, Killick.
No what?
We really appreciated it. We're actually going to do our show now, so you can take the New Zealand brand and stuff off.
You should have just walked up. It's hilarious. He just comes back in like 5 minutes. He's like, "So what's up? What happened?"
Oh shit! I accidentally just changed it. Okay, right.
Little do they know that I'm not even Australian.
Oh
my god!
Where are you from?
That's okay. I am also not Australian.
Sorry, Vic, don't talk over the top of him. Where are you from? Sorry.
England originally.
England.
But not for very long.
I was.
Hey, Tully has a bit of an accent.
But
I noticed the accent's pretty sexy.
Right. Can we get into this, or we're just going to continue?
God, fun police, tribal. Jesus, he's just trying to tell us where he's from, and you're just shutting him down. Help a brother out.
I think the conversation is somewhat done.
So, this week we thought we'd actually talk about the whole furry thing, because a lot of people don't understand what the furry thing is. And normally when you talk to people and you say, "Oh yeah, you heard of the furries?" They're like, "The hentai stuff?" See, he's laughing.
I've
So-
heard of the hentai stuff, and it's
So
quite
we're gonna try and help
Nothing.
people actually understand what the furry thing is. Believe it or not, we had 2 furries on this show. Now we have 1 furry on this show, who's actually a member of the show. I mean, Tribal's a furry. Scott was also a furry. So there you go. We had furries on the show, so it seemed only fitting that we'd eventually
I actually
talk
found
about
out that Scott and Tribal were furries before I actually found out what a furry was. And it wasn't until I got told we were going to have the lovely Killick on our show that I actually went and researched it and found out what it was. Because
Oh Jesus! You didn't.
I come from Newcastle.
You did not Google
I-
furries, did you?
Oh, I did.
Oh,
I
God.
did. I even did the
Oh,
Control
no.
Shift N. Hang on, let me just do that right now. Have you tried this before? Do you use Google Chrome?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you press Control Shift N,
Mm-hmm.
it brings up a incognito mode. So that means I can't get in trouble for anything I search. It's just fantastic. If you didn't know that, if there's any single dads out there that get in trouble from their kids for what they search, Control Shift N will
I
save
don't-
you or
It's
married.
okay. I think it's the
Well,
the
a little bit late.
cat.
The kids are more intrigued and they want to dig deeper and work out what's going on.
But I did do a solid 4 to 5 hours research, so I have a lot of questions, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Alright, Tribal. Think you're so cool, you're the furry of the show. I'm going to allow you to muscle it for once.
Mm.
So, take us through the mystical land as to what is a furry.
Okay.
Tribal?
I'll do my best to do a brief here, and I'll expect Killick to jump in if I make any misdemeanors on this one. Furry's easiest way, or the most basic way to explain a furry, is someone who has an interest in anthropomorphic characters.
Yep.
So that can be anything from werewolves to Bugs Bunny, and pretty much anything in between. Now, there are different fields of where a furry falls. There are people that enjoy the artwork. There are people that like sort of role-playing characters. There's people that like dressing up and actually acting out the character they've taken as their character. Sort of similar to a cosplay thing, but more expensive. It's a subculture, and like all subcultures, some people get really into it, some people don't. Some people just on the fringe and go, "Hey, that's cool," and some people go way overboard, and you don't want to be anywhere near them. But you get that in all subcultures.
Okay, so here's the
Now-
question. What's your animal, Killick?
Border collie.
I bought a
Oh, that's adorable.
Oh, that's. Can we have a
In
photo?
fact,
Can you link a photo?
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
do, just in the chat, because if my photo, if my camera does get too shit and gross for you guys, I can always just put up a picture.
No,
of
no,
my
no. I
facade.
prefer the camera, but
If you just send a photo through, because I edit the video, I'll just slap it on the edited video.
No, just put it on the side, with a little pit.
Well, I've actually, because there's five spots, I've got a 6th empty spot in the middle of the video. I can just slap it there.
Cool.
You're a squirrel, aren't you, Tribal?
No, Fennec Fox.
Fennec Fox. Okay.
Yes.
Same shit.
My Twitter handle literally has the character on it.
It looks like a squirrel.
It's a Fennec, damn it. You don't have ears like that on a squirrel.
Ah, who cares?
no, it's a.
No. Let me address this. What do you mean squirrel?
Squirrel.
No, Vix. Say it again.
So, I'd probably be a bear. Because, I am big,
Yeah, I would
strong,
also
bro.
be up here.
I think I'd be a squirrel.
Push it
Oddly, I
forward.
think Mod actually suits a squirrel. He's somewhat hyperactive enough to pull it off.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I'm apparently a sloth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cool bananas. Cool
I'm
bananas.
scared.
Cool bananas. Alright.
Alrighty.
American penguin.
I think
Whoa.
Mod actually has some questions.
I do, but first let me just run through the gauntlet, because tribal, very good definition. But I did ask a couple broad questions in the document. So just in broad terms, Killick, a furry, what would you say it's someone that engages in dress-ups of anthropomorphic animals? Or is it nothing to do with dress-ups, it's just loving them?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you have to dress up to be a furry, is my question?
Do you like Star Trek?
I do.
Do you have a Captain Kirk uniform?
No.
Maybe.
Does that partially answer your question? Like,
Okay. No,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was just asking for the
yeah,
viewers.
essentially.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's because it's one of those yes and no questions. There's
Yep.
no real yes or no to that question because you do have furs like myself who I couldn't give a flying toss about fursuits, to be perfectly frank. But then there are people that's what furry is for them. It is these fantastic suits, some with excellent craftsmanship that go into them. They enjoy wearing them and sort of performing as them. But other furs, that is completely not why they're part of the fandom.
Yeah, no, that's alright. Yeah, so
Do you mind if I butt in
basically
with a
it's the
question
love
here?
of it. Yep.
No.
Yeah. So if it's called fursuiting, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're doing fursuiting, do you also like? How do you talk? Do you have to have like a different accent type thing, or do you talk in like?
Most. Oh man, I wish my boyfriend was here. He knows a bit more about it than I do.
I
There
can
is
explain a little bit, but
there is certain etiquette and sort of unwritten rules involved with suiting. While I'm not a suitor myself, I do know a few of them. One of the ones, it's not a very strict rule, is that generally suitors are mute. They don't talk. Their performance is through their actions, because it is a form of performance. And it's very interesting because you will get people that are just in normal everyday life, they are extremely socially withdrawn. They do have issues relating to people in real life, but then they jump into their suit and suddenly they are the center of attention. And it is sometimes really incredible watching that transition, just because they're put on sorry, am I allowed to swear?
go for it.
Don't you fucking swear on my show once, you piece of shit. You fucking open that mouth and any kind of curse comes
Don't
out.
you cum guzzling thunder cunt.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Shut down.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, but because they put on 50 pounds of fur, they put on 50 pounds of the fur, this costume, suddenly they're a completely different personality, and that just comes out through the performance.
Yeah, I totally get that. I do, well, listeners would know, but I do a show once a week called the Half Hour with Viktor show, where I come on and I put on a loud, obnoxious Russian accent, and I scream into the mic for half an hour, and that is the entirety of the show. And normally I'm a pretty socially awkward person, and I sort of come out of my shell quite a bit more when I started doing the Viktor thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
How's-
I can take it from like how I was. I came into the furry subculture. I was really socially repressed, and if it wasn't for the furry subculture, I never would have actually been able to socialize with people. Like, I wouldn't be where I was if I hadn't become part of that subculture. And I don't know if it's true, but I've noticed a lot of the furries I knew, they all they seem to end up in the furry subculture because they're somewhat socially awkward. And
Yes.
a lot of times the character they take is the ideal of what they want to be like.
Yeah, in some cases that is exactly that. It's no secret that the furry fandom does attract a certain caliber of person sometimes, to put it very, very politely. That's just how the fandom is made up, really. I'm not sure why, it just happens that way, and it does help people come out of their shells a lot sometimes.
Yeah, I think Mod was trying to ask a question, but I think he just dropped again, so...
Oh dear.
Do you want to ask one of your questions then, Tribal?
Yeah, I've got a few here. We'll let Mod get back to his. But I've just got, first off, like, what is the furry subculture now? Like, how's it sit? And how has it changed since you became part of it? Has there been much of a change over the last few years and things like that?
I was introduced into the furry fandom by my first boyfriend back in, I want to say the very end of 2009. So I've actually only been part of this fandom for about 5 years. And honestly, it has not changed a whole heap. The people change, like, people come, people go, people stop They feel that it's not something they necessarily need or want to be part of for various reasons, whether they, I don't want to say grow up, but that's kind of where I'm going, is just they don't have time for it anymore, which is, it's a shame.
I'd probably say they grow out of it. More than they grow up.
That's the perfect way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I am. Like, I'm still a furry, quote unquote, but like I haven't been active in the subculture for like 9 years. It's just I don't have the time. I've got a wife and 2 kids.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll admit I'm getting less active in the Brisbane community simply because there has been a large influx of newer, younger members into the Brisbane meets, which some of my friends view this as a bad thing because don't like change, I want it to stay the same forever. The fact is, these things do change. We do get new members, and this is what makes me feel old, because I am noticing this generational difference that people that are coming in, they're 17, 18, 20 years old, and they're just acting completely differently to how me and my friends would act and behave at a meet, and again, not in any negative connotation, just different. Yeah, it's just a new generation. It's just things are changing constantly.
Mm-hmm.
That's really common, because as new people come into schools and whatnot, like even just talking about a high school, the next year that comes in generally tries to outdo the last year. So what you get is this growing, escalating in actions, like extremism, what people get into. So obviously, I'm guessing in a culture where people do dress up, they get more extravagant, they act more extravagant, they start doing things with way more energy. Plus, you put that into the fact that you guys are already, as you said, set in your ways, and all of a sudden you sort of get this weird environment sort of growing with 2 different cultures within the one. So I can see that happen. Just on that, people getting into subculture. Sorry, I just got to try and keep the document, because otherwise I just go on a fucking tangent. When people are, you say new people coming into the culture, when people are interested in the culture, like take yourself, when you first started getting interested in the culture, and not just the characters, but actually getting into the community, what sort of first steps did you take? Like, because obviously you're the head of a podcast now that stands for Furdom, but your first couple steps, was it at uni or high school that you started doing it? How did you get into it?
It was 2010, so I would have been, 2009, 2010, so, what was I, 21, 22, I don't know, very early 20s.
Sorry.
While you think, I can do my story of my first social engagement of furries.
Oh, sure.
Just let you think for a second. So basically for me, like, this is, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, something like that. I'd come into the furry subculture actually from a role-playing background. I did a lot of the old forum-based role-plays and fantasy role-plays, and just ended up falling into furry role-plays because I was already doing avian characters and things like that. But
just going to interrupt you there, Tribal. My Audacity appears to have crashed for some reason.
We can pull it off for YouTube.
You can?
Yeah, restart your recording anyway. We'll grab what we can, if you can.
All right.
Tribal will, the video version won't change, but Tribal can fix up the audio. He'll probably just cut out this whole section and then re-stick it together.
Yeah.
Sure thing. I'll just start a new recover. Good God. FYI, this never actually happens during Furballd. This is actually really, really strange.
No, because my stuff's working properly now, so I've passed the curse on to you, and it's your job to pass it on to someone at Furballd, and they'll just go around the podcasting community. Whatever.
They all use one PC, though, don't they?
Yeah.
It looks like it's tried to record 2 channels for some fucking reason. I don't know what's going on here.
Audacity's great. I love Audacity.
Yeah, generally I do, but...
So,
If you're doing
God,
two
I'm
channels,
so
one has
sorry,
stopped
right?
recording and started
Yeah.
recording, and it'll actually have two channels again. Like, every time you stop and start, it starts an additional track.
Oh yeah, I know that. But
Okay,
it looks
sorry.
like for some reason it was doing two at the same time.
Oh, wow.
It's odd. They shouldn't even be able to. That shouldn't even be possible for Audacity unless you've got a sound card running on the system.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, I'll have to keep grabbing this off Victor stuff, and we'll just keep going while you stuff around with that.
Sorry
anyway.
about
You're right.
You're right.
So yeah, like I first came down to Brisbane, and I kind of jumped on what social media I could find for furries, which was basically a forum, and I have a train going past right now, as you can probably hear. And I found Jaffa, Misty, and Bingo. Specifically Jaffa, who I don't think is even part of the subculture anymore due to some other issues. But this is me, like a 17-year-old trying to communicate with people in a city I'd never been in. And I effectively got invited to a fur house, which is effectively just a bunch of furries that are all living in the same house. So, yeah.
did you know your partner at this point?
No, I didn't meet my partner until about 2 years after I came to Brisbane.
Okay.
A fur house.
Yeah.
They couldn't
I think
come
it
up
was
with a
named-
more creative name. Like a kennel. Or,
No,
That's
they
kennel.
call it different
That's-
things. You get the den, I think there's one called the asylum, and there's all sorts of ones. It's just the nickname they have for the house.
okay, fair enough.
But nonetheless, like I got invited to their place, and like I'm sort of like, this is kind of really awkward because I have no idea what they look like or anything. Turn up to the house. I think it's the right house. Knock on the door. Here's this girl that's actually taller than me. Answers the door, and I'm just like, because my brain's going, if I say I'm Delphox and I'm at the wrong house, I'm going to look like a complete and utter twit. And of course, like, Jaffa at the time points his head around the door, he's like, Delphox? I'm like, yes, thank fucking God. And yeah, I got to know him then. And that was Misty who answered the door, for those that do know Misty Striker, but yeah. And it was just
She's
like,
a tall lady, you say?
yeah, she is.
Does she
she's
like
tall for a
Russian
girl.
men who make big moves?
No, she
think
likes
she's
Russian
quite-
woman.
Yeah.
I can be Russian
That
woman.
makes big boom.
I can be Russian woman who make big boom. This is not a problem for Viktor.
I believe she's been in a relationship for at least 5 years, so sorry, mate.
Yeah.
That is not problem.
It'll be your problem if you try and get in between them.
Oh yeah, you don't. Yeah, no, dangerous.
There'll be a Mortal Kombat fatality there.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I believe
Do
the
it.
partner is in military, so
Oh.
Yeah. She's a serving officer.
Nah, Vic, do it.
but yeah, like so.
Sell tickets.
Yeah, I was introduced to the furry culture basically by hanging out with these guys that all lived in the same house that were furries, which honestly was the most random thing because you'd turn up and everyone would just be in their rooms and they'd literally be messaging each other via the computer and you just walk between the rooms and talk to them because, they're computer geeks. No one ever leaves their computer. Even when they're in their same house.
I don't
I'm
think
not that
that's
bad.
unique. I think that I would call that a normal person.
I wouldn't. Jesus.
Let me just get my poo bucket real quick.
Mom!
Give me my cheesy poofs.
But yeah, like I gradually sort of formed into the social group because they had like weekly hangouts and things like that. So I just gradually formed into the social group from there. But yeah, so
you
that was
found
my
an
first
instant
experience.
contact, and just gradually they introduce your friends, and all of a sudden you're in the community.
Basically, yeah.
So you'd say go to social media.
Yes. Twitter, if
Fair
you know, even something like Furballd, like if you find a podcast that's local, like you can at least contact them and then find out what is around. And it's
definitely.
really, you just got to search.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
and
the
that is
first-
the tricky part is. Oh, sorry, Victor. Go on.
I was just going to say, the first Furballd episode I listened to was that Liam Neeson one, where you guys were like, yeah, just Liam Neeson was doing a thing. But, like, in the first, 30 seconds of that podcast, someone goes, so we spoke to Tribal Mind on Twitter. And I was like, oh, shit, they talked to Tribal Mind!
That was the most recent episode, I believe,
Yeah.
Yes.
where you can totally win a copy of the epic 80s fantasy movie Krull if you just send us what movie you'd like to talk about next on
Which I
Facebook,
have.
Twitter, or by email.
I'll send mine in over Skype right now.
No, it's not how this game works, mate. It's not how
It might get lost in rotation.
Damn it!
Especially
Alright, I'll send it over Twitter.
Dude. No, some guy who cares has to send it. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy won a Logitech keyboard and headset the other day.
What?
So that Twitter guy's doing alright. 200
What do you
bucks
mean?
worth.
What do you mean?
The OPL run a competition where you had to guess the amount of kills that Direwolves and Legacy would get. Bam! On the
Some guy who
nose.
cares. Oh god. Modder created a Twitter account for people who have problems with this podcast, known as Some Guy Who Cares.
all our complaints.
So I can send it that song.
I made the mistake of electing Modbro as the network community manager to liaise between us and our listeners, and I think he's doing a good
Loving
job.
him, bro. I like talking to people. People are fun.
Yeah. So yeah, have you had time to think about how you came into the culture, Killick?
Yeah. It's not a super interesting story, but basically, my camera's being weird. I was talking to a friend online, and he said, I know this other guy, you might be interested in him. He linked me to who would then become my first boyfriend, and he got me into the fandom. He basically said, I do this thing, you should check it out, go to this website, come to these meets every Tuesday, and I started meeting people from there. It was a bit of a slow process for me because I was still a little bit socially inept at the time.
Yep.
And it basically was going to a coffee club full of 50 people I did not know. And my boyfriend, who was also socially inept, and so he was introducing me to people. We were just literally going to the coffee club, sitting in the middle of these people, ordering a milkshake. He would occasionally talk to someone. I would look and go, haha, yeah, and then we would leave. So it wasn't actually until about until actually about a year later that I met my my second and current boyfriend, Ringo, where I started becoming more social, putting myself out there a little bit more, and it was so painful and difficult, but it paid off in the end, basically. You just need to meet like 2 or 3 people that you can click with, and then those people will know another person that you'll be able to click with, and so on and so forth.
Once you get your foot in the door, you can start making friends, really.
I've got a better question.
Just make that first step.
So your boyfriend, is he hot?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. What about?
Good
Wait.
answer. We usually
Here's
try and
the
get
real
people in
question.
trouble with that.
See, there was a real question I was actually going to ask. Is your ex-boyfriend hot?
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
player!
He snags the good ones, doesn't he?
It all started with a boy.
Yeah. I get to say that about my exes.
No, guys do it differently. You can't say that about exes. On
You
this
can't
side.
say that where it can be heard.
How about straight exes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, as soon as you break up with them, they're suddenly uggos. Is that it?
Oh yeah.
It's basically you just don't talk about them, apparently.
It's mostly
Oh,
because
geez.
then your current girlfriend will get jealous over your ex-girlfriend.
Pretty much, yeah.
You just got to know the rules.
It depends. Depends on the person, things like that, though.
Until you get married, and then you're just absolutely scot-free, can't get in trouble. Nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, because in the gay relationship, your current boyfriend will go, "Hey, this old photo who is that with you? Oh, that's my previous boyfriend. He is hot. I tapped that. Yeah, I know."
And then you get a threesome on, right?
I don't know about that.
Well,
He says down your beer.
He's just like, I'm not going to say what happened, but it was good.
We'll do one of these ones. Just
sure.
We'll get people into the Skype, okay? Just so everyone knows, he's nodding right now. He's nodding very excitedly and wagging his tail. Nodding, wagging his tail. Wait, that's not his tail. Please put that away, sir. This is a podcast. Well, congratulations on that. Oh, good man.
This is what we do with every podcast.
I would say it's only podcasts with people I don't know, and people that Mod doesn't know, and people that Mod does know.
We're kind of fascinated right now. I'm loving this. This is a lot of fun. With the Border Collie, so your character's a Border Collie and
As a
Tribals
side
are
note, my dog is a Border Collie.
Good.
She's
Good choice.
adorable.
Good
Daisy.
choice.
What are you talking about, Bo? You got the pugs.
Oh my god. I hate these things.
Bo's
house
house
sitting
sitting.
for pugs.
He's house sitting pugs at the moment with his girlfriend. And they are the smelliest and just stupidest creatures on the planet.
They, honestly, not even being cruel, these things should not exist.
Hey, let's go on a tangent. How's the house sitting going, by the way? How are you enjoying playing house?
Yeah, it's alright. I get good food. Got pasta. I'll show you my pasta. Hey, let me just see your pasta.
She's taking care of you. Oh, that does look good.
And I got a Jimmy and Coke. So there you
So
go.
where's the food?
Don't get that at home.
Yeah.
So back
And
in
I
your-
gave him my Wii U the other day as well.
Yeah. It's working out wonders for me.
We'll talk
What
about
are you playing on it?
Kirby.
Yeah, fair enough. I should have actually guessed, really.
Yeah, he bought Kirby's Woolly World like first thing just
Not
about.
Kirby. That's
That's
Yoshi's.
not a
Woolly.
game.
Oh,
It's Kirby and the rainbow paintbrush.
Rainbow Curse, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
same
Oh,
shit.
why?
the rainbow
Okay.
something or other. Keep going.
Awesome.
All right. So, as I was saying, your character. Oh, your. What do you call
Persona?
it? Give me a good word.
Persona. It's a...
So,
fucking
what's it
furries and
called?
their puns. We have a thing with puns.
You
So,
love
yeah,
fun.
it's not a persona, it's a fursona.
It's a
Yeah.
I do.
That is what it's called. People don't even
Brilliant.
recognize that it is a pun now. It's just so ingrained into the subculture that it's just a fursona. It's just what it is.
I like that.
The first thing I asked Tribal was, what do I call them? Do I call them like spirit animals or something?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It does sound cool though.
And
Maybe if you're a Power Ranger, but
Maybe if you're an otherkin.
Do most
Maybe.
people only have one persona, or do they change? Is it like cosplay where you might do a different one each convention, or is it personal choice? What is it?
again, another interesting question. And I think you'll find a lot of these questions will have a sort of skewed answer
Bit more
because
ambiguous.
what makes the furry fandom different as a fandom subculture is that it doesn't have source material, or it doesn't have a dedicated source material like Trekkies, Star Trek, Browncoats, Firefly, Buffy fans, Buffy, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying. With furries, the content is actually a lot of it's self-created. So, you know, that there is influences taken from things like Disney's Robin Hood or Star Fox. Zootopia is going to be the next big thing. But generally,
through the forest. Sorry, I fucking love that movie. That's a great movie.
yeah,
Robin Hood, Disney, love it.
pretty
Sorry,
good.
continue.
But yeah, generally people's personas are self-created.
Yeah.
And now I've completely forgotten what the question was.
So basically, let's take you for example. You've
Yeah.
created Border Collie.
Yes.
Okay. Has that been your fursona and you've been developing it over the time?
Ah.
Or did you have a squirrel, then move to a bear, and now you're a Border Collie?
Fucking sick of your shit.
We can't understand your Russian accent sometimes.
Some people do change.
Yep.
I've always been. My persona has never changed really.
Yep.
The only thing that's really changed is like the shadings of his colorings, which is it was like blue and dark grey, then it was like blue and light grey, then blue and sort of like silvery grey, whatever. But so I've never really changed that
silvery.
much.
Are you starting to go silvery and that's sort of translating across, or no silver
Yeah,
yet?
maybe. I don't know. Hope not. If it is, I'll just fucking shave it all off.
Yeah, I
It was
said
a
that
cube.
too.
Yeah.
You just shaved
Yeah.
off the grey bits though.
Yeah,
you
just
you
I
didn't
know, this is actually, I
properly.
shaved off the M. There was grey here, and I shaved it into an M
Yeah.
for mod.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. But
No,
some
but there
people...
is people that do it every fur do. They'll rock up with a fantastic.
Not necessarily, because it's 'cause you're talking about fursuits in a way.
Yeah.
A different costume. That's a bad idea because fursuits, a cheap fursuit will cost you about $500, and a very, very not even elaborate, just a well put together fursuit is between $3,000 and $5,000. So it's not just something you can go out and change. Really.
So just on that, if I had the cash, if I spent 10 grand on the most amazing fursuit you'd ever seen, would that get me laid furdo?
Can you do a backflip in it?
Oh.
Might have to go to the gym.
Because
might have to go to the gym.
there's a couple of guys, some only have partial, some have full suits, but they do the whole... actually, if you are interested, look up essentially fursuit dance videos. My mate Logan Husky, he does a lot of filming for a lot of the Aussie cons. He's also been to a few of the American cons, and he loves... he's actually... he's a... is it a videographer? Not a photographer, but like video.
Oh, that's not right, yeah.
Yeah, videographer. Yeah, that's it. He's actually one of those. He's professional, but he also does it for fun on the side as well. And he does put together sort of like the best of cons and also dance competitions and also just the general dances that we do have at cons. So you do get
That
guys.
sounds super hard.
Oh,
Like
it fucking
fursuit,
must be.
That'd be so hard.
I feel like the
can't
typical
even- I
suit
can't
would
even
be
do
like heavy and intricate, especially like the headpieces. Like if you get
Yeah.
a really proper headpiece, I feel like
The
because
problem-
I was a dancer for many years and I was an acrobat for many years and gymnast for a couple. So like
Do that with like 5 kilos of carpet on you.
okay, that's how I
And
practice.
a
I'll just
vision
Sounds like you
that
get
is
a
something like this.
Yeah,
That's about all you can see.
yeah.
it's insane. These guys are really talented. But in regards to changing a persona over time, there is that restriction of if you are a fursuited, and there's that cost restriction. Sometimes you even have people that because they just want a fursuit, they will actually buy a pre-used fursuit, so it's actually second hand. No, it's fine. Again, it's, as long as someone's taking good care of it and it's it's been well looked after and well
Wait,
maintained.
it's not the hentai variant of furries, okay, Mod? Relax.
It's not that
What if
far
there
off.
was one though, and you bought that?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
But,
would you quit or would you keep going at a stronger pace?
I love Bo's got a camera now. So much more of his emotion comes through. It's awesome. I can
But some people do change their personas. Like my current boyfriend, his original persona was just a dingo. Then he changed to a bear, and now he is a dragon dingo hybrid, which is actually pretty cool.
Now,
Can he
there,
fly?
was that also a part
Yes.
of a pun? Because I
He can fly.
understand there is
pun.
a gay thing called a bear, like a roll, like I'm
That is
looking
that
for
is
a bear.
actually an interesting coincidence. That's just the bear community took on the word bear because it sounded cool, and also in the furry fandom there are bears, which are both
Okay.
bears, but also just
I
bears.
was just like, fair enough.
It's a happy coincidence which people play on quite often.
I don't know what this bear thing is.
Don't
A
bother.
bear
know a
is
little
is a gay man who is rather stocky, well built, with a lot of hair on his chest. I can send you pictures if you'd like.
I thought they were called Canadian lumberjacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they're not wearing any clothes, then they're a bear.
Oh.
Whereas if they've got an axe and they're
Okay, now it
If they've
makes
got
sense.
flannel and an axe, then it's a lumberjack fantasy. If they're wearing nothing or a leather harness, then they are a bear. That is a very
I love
fine
it.
delineation there.
Cool,
Oh.
cool.
Like,
I-
I'll chime in as an example for like personas changing and that as well. Like, before I actually entered the furry community, I was actually playing an avian as a roleplay thing, and that was what I was originally going to be. But at the time, I was starting to come out of a very like monotone, non-emotional person, and that's kind of where avian came from. And I slipped into a fox, which the second I found out the general connotations to a fox, I said, well, I'm not going to be a normal fox because I don't want to be considered the most perverted person ever, and therefore became a fennec fox, which I decided was easily turned as more insane and less perverted. And eventually my Fennec Fox character became what's generally termed feral Fennec Fox, which meant it is an actual Fennec Fox and not a anthropomorphic character.
That's right.
So, like, some people have characters that are feral, as they're termed, and it basically means their persona is the actual animal and not an anthropomorphic version of the animal.
Yeah.
So it's closer to a spirit animal.
No.
No. Spirit animals are an entirely different field.
Okay.
That's going into other kin territory.
You talk about spirit animal, you're literally talking about spirituality, which is a completely different side of the fandom that I know nothing about.
Yeah.
So
I have this.
We've been talking about birds, bears, tigers. Oh, well, lions, tigers, and bears. Yeah, cool. But we've been talking about all this stuff. But can you be a furry and do like a lizard or a spider?
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter. Furry's just a chosen.
Furry is
So
a
it can be
very
like an
ubiquitous
insect
term.
if you want.
Yeah, furries
Fair
is
enough.
a very ubiquitous term. It's basically an umbrella term, and it does conjure up images more of mammals, but furries does cover people with bird personas or lizard.
Avians or scalies.
Yeah, sometimes they're just called avians or scalies. You do also get mystics is not a term used very often, but people do have dragons or griffins is the most common sort of mythical animal persona, which is pretty cool.
I'm yet to ever see a chimera.
A chimera, I don't know, maybe, probably.
I'm sure
If I
someone
typed
has
it
one.
If I typed it into Fur Affinity, I'd probably find one.
Fur Affinity, what's that? Let's cover that.
It is a website which is becoming somewhat unpopular in the furry fandom because of various business decisions they've made in the last 6 months. Basically, it's a place where you post your art or stories or music, which is generally furry related. Not always. You can post other stuff there, but generally it's. I think they've got a rule that it has to be somewhat related to furry. I haven't read the TOS in quite a while.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the
somewhere
wrong
there
page
there's
because
the
I'm getting
one
bedroom
that's
furniture and IKEA. Or is that the business choices you're discussing?
No, I don't think that's it.
I told one of my friends yesterday. His name's Ash. I told him yesterday that I was getting a furry on the podcast today, and we were going to talk about the whole furryism stuff. And he was like, "Ooh, really?" And I'm like, "Yeah. What's wrong with that?"
Furry?
And because he was the one that sort of put the idea in my head, like about all the hentai stuff. And he was like, "Oh no, you keep away from that stuff. Are you into furry?" Yeah. Like back when we were in high school. And I was talking about it now. He's like, "Oh, if that's what you want to do, you just do it." And I'm thinking about it now, and I'm thinking about particularly the art side of it, where you all have your own characters. Like you've just we've just seen your border collie in the Skype chat or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a brony. And he's made his own brony character called Schwoops. And he's got his own drawn brony character and all this stuff. And I'm thinking...
You're worse.
Furries rejoice the day that brony became a term because it was the sign of a new era that furries were no longer the bottom of the nerd rankings, the fandom rankings. We are no longer in the sewers, we are now one step above the sewers. Yeah.
Okay, so before bronies in the nerd...
joking, but...
So in the nerd world, before bronies, furries were like the scum of the earth. And then when the bronies showed up, now the bronies have become the scum of the earth.
Just so everyone knows, whenever
it's because when people see
brony, I actually had to search it.
What?
I just had to search brony and it came with My Little Pony.
That's correct, sir.
Yeah,
Wait, you haven't done a brony?
Bros that like ponies.
Kinda. Yeah, although the etymology of the term brony, it's not actually bro pony, it's actually the B 4chan or b/. I've never actually been on 4chan.
4chan
But
/ B.
it's where that originated from, was the B, whatever the fuck that is. From,
Random.
Yeah. That's when
Yeah.
Friendship is Magic first came out. I'll admit it, I've seen the first season. It was okay.
My daughter owns the damn series. So.
I watched the first episode. I was
Your
not
poor
into it.
daughter.
She
it was alright.
She's 8. Well, yeah.
She's not that interested, but Tribal watches it all the time.
Yeah. But just
There's a
as an
reason you
interesting
paid for
fact,
it.
that's where the etymology of brony actually comes from. It's actually b/ in 4chan.
Okay.
Pony.
Which is the no-go zone, right? I don't know 4chan.
Don't go to B.
4chan.
Yeah, I
Don't
thought so. Alright.
don't go to
4chan's
4chan.
not
Don't
the
go
same
to
place.
B. It's just. Well, and the second you step onto 4chan for the first time, you are a new fag and you are not welcome.
Enough time.
Yeah. Anyway, moving away from that one.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
moving on. I actually listened to a fair chunk of your podcast because I was like, hey,
Thank you.
you know,
So
it's
did
actually
I.
a pretty good podcast. I really enjoy the fact that, like, while it's a fur podcast, you actually just talk about movies and shit. So I really enjoy random chat. So I was like, hey, I'll listen to like 12 of them. So I listened to the Furdo episodes. I really enjoyed them with all your little
great.
guests and stuff. But I was
Yeah, that
super
was so much
annoyed because you didn't actually talk about Furdo. So, like, all of a sudden I was like, so can you tell me what goes on at Furdo? Or is it like a Fight Club thing? Like, you know, first rule of Furdo is don't talk about Furdo. Like, you said
I
there's
think
dance
they beat
parties
each
at a
other
pub.
up, though.
And people do panels. I know there's panels and dancing.
Okay, so, interesting enough, you've actually spelt it incorrectly in your little
Damn
rhyme
it!
sheet there. It's
Are you for real?
FURU, because it's an acronym of Furry Down Under.
Oh.
Oh, hang on. I can
Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was like a hairdo, like, this is my new furdo.
That's what the fun was.
I like that, though. I like that.
You
No,
just
Furdu-
said you were all into the puns.
Oh, we are. I mean, let's face it, we've got Convergence. Which
Oh
haven't
my
Oh,
been-
God.
lovely.
It's terrible. And
You've even got
I can't-
persecution, I've heard before.
Yeah, Persecution is fucking terrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the convention Furdu,
Yeah.
it's held every year on the Gold Coast. I think this was its 5th year this year, maybe 6th. I can't remember.
Numbers growing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was only my 2nd, because this is the first year I have not been neck deep in uni work. I'm just, I'm free, which is great. So I was able to go down and enjoy it
That
properly.
is like the worst thing you could say to treat uni like that. Because I literally have my first day of uni tomorrow.
Oh, good job.
Okay, you're fine. Uni doesn't suck.
Doom, doom, doom,
Sorry,
doom,
I just
doom.
had something in my throat. No, it doesn't.
I
suck.
work for university. You shut your face.
I hate it. I hate it.
Oh, wait. By chance, you work in the library?
I do. I'm a librarian.
Okay, can I just point out that
Yeah?
I heard that on your podcast. The next podcast I listened to was Viktor's podcast, where he said all librarians are boring people.
Cool.
Oh my God.
That-
I did actually say that.
You did, and I was like, you son of a bitch, I want to bring this up on the show, and me and Killick are going to tear you to strips, mate. 'Cause my mum was a
Admittedly,
librarian.
Beat him up. Beat him up.
I'll be perfectly honest. When librarians
Sir,
talk
if you
about
wanted to fight with
their
me,
job-
you should have just asked.
when librarians talk about their job and what they do to other non-librarians, it is incredibly boring. It's exciting to me to go on about the research impact tracking that I'm doing at work, but to anyone else who's listening that doesn't have an information science degree, they know what the fuck I'm going on about.
Cool.
And it's great. Also, one of my mates' mates, who I've met a few times, is also a librarian at a public library. And just to piss everyone off, we'll have really in-depth conversations about how shit the Library of Congress categorization system is. And they have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Just
so
go,
you-
I don't
LCC,
even-
am I right? Oh!
Then you all have
Well,
a good chat. No one will know what's going on.
I have not so much the same issue, but I work in a very I've done a lot of technical stuff through TAFE and other qualifications to do what I do before I went to uni, and like I'm an inspector. And what I find is I go on sites where no one is qualified with anything, and I find a really complicated fault, and I'll talk for about 15 minutes going through all the ins and outs and how this happened and filters and stuff back in, and I'll just look at these blank faces, and then I just say, yeah, I'll handle it, mate. It'll be okay. You're doing a good job. And pat them on the shoulder, and then I'll walk off site. It's fucking atrocious. It's good fun.
We were talking about Furballd.
Furballd.
Yes, Furballd.
By librarianship. So yeah, Furballd is a convention on the Gold Coast.
Yes.
It's known within the furry community as Australia's PartyCon, because a lot of people will go there and just set up a room party with low noise levels so they don't get told to shut up by security and just drink and get absolutely fucking wasted. However, as a convention, it is a fantastic place to meet people. I think we had just over 500 attendees this year, which is actually really huge for an Aussie con. Although the Americans look at us and scoff, because...
yeah, but they do that with everything.
And they marry goats.
Yeah, but they they don't have the biggest furcon in the world, but Anthrocon, which is the biggest furcon in America, draws roughly between 4,000 and 5,000 attendees every year. So,
yes, they also have like 10 times our population, so in direct levels, you'd consider we actually attract approximately the same amount, if you consider percentage-wise.
If you do look at it certain ways, we do attract a pretty good number of people. What happens at Furballd, you're right, we do have panels. Normally my friends... I realise I actually know quite a few people that do the panels. I'm just thinking about that now. My friend Tiny Cat normally does his gaming panel, where he will talk about an aspect of video gaming, and he has such an amazing in-depth knowledge of video gaming, console gaming, though, to be more specific. It's actually quite amazing. This year he talked about the evolution of the controller from the 70s to now. My friend Jay Stote, who has actually 3 published books under his actual publishing name, JFR Coates, who I suggest you read. It's about Dragon Human War. It's awesome. Axe in Stone. You can find them at jaffabooks.com. That's just a little plug there for my mate. He holds a writing panel. Sorry?
Writing of fiction?
Yes.
Yeah.
A writing panel. So writing fiction panel. This year it was developing a particular character. So basically he sat down with a group of people on a whiteboard and we started developing just this one character. And I can't remember what species she was, but we decided that she was a newly graduated engineer with slightly less than admirable intentions towards her other fellow peers. In fact, the possibility that she may even be a foreign spy came up during the conversation. And it's just developing the character because, he is a publisher and an author.
Yeah.
The interesting thing I've found with furries, particularly writers, is there's 2 ways a furry writer will write something furry-based.
Yep.
One is they'll say, yeah, it's a canine, and then never use the fact that they're a canine whatsoever and write a purely human story with just referencing an animal. And then the other group will be like, yeah, it's a canine. So, okay, their vision's not as good, their smell is much better. Let's include, tail action. Let's include, they actually make a use of the physical body of the character a lot more.
Yeah.
And it's odd, because you have to wonder, the ones that are just writing, it's a furry but going pure human, are they just trying to write a story that's furry for the sake of it, and why make that character a furry?
That's actually a really good question. As you may or may not know, the furry fandom actually stemmed from the literary science fiction fandom in the earlier half of the 20th century, where you see in fiction, modern fiction as well as older fiction, that an alien could just be an anthropomorphic animal. That is actually where the modern furry fandom originally stems from. As far as I know, I'm sure that there is a furry out there who's going, "That's wrong!" And if I am wrong, I accept that.
Is that how they all
that's
sound?
what I've been told. But yeah, so you'll find in science fiction or fantasy that's not furry, authors will actually explain why their characters are furry, what has made them this way, why is it a talking dog as opposed to just a dude. However, in furry fiction, we don't need an explanation. We don't care if it's just, he's a dog? Oh, he's a dog? Okay, cool, let's go. On with the story.
Fucking adorable.
Yeah. But it is perfectly acceptable to have what is essentially, like you said, a human story just with the person wearing an animal skin. It's okay to do that. It adds a bit of flavour, but you are right, it is essentially just a human story. But you can get writers who do go a little bit more in depth with that, and they have all the animalistic traits of that. And then you get other writers like Kyle Gold, who is one of my favourite furry authors, who wrote an amazing book series. Admittedly, I've only read the first two, called Out of Position, about a fox and a tiger. The tiger is actually a quarterback player of an American football team. The fox is like a sort of gay rights, social justice warrior. And they do actually fall in love, which is interesting because the tiger is actually pretty homophobic to start out. It's a beautiful love story. It is wonderfully well written, and it actually got me excited about sports. Amazing. And he sort of walks that line between it's a human with animal features and the more animalistic traits, like he'll incorporate things into the story like animals on a football team that have horns. They have to wear caps on their various horns or antlers. They have to everyone files down their claws because that's just what you do in a modern animal society. They sell, instead of deodorant, they sell Nutricent, which actually neutralizes the natural musk that animals produce to attract or scare away other animals.
Musk, pheromones and things like that.
Yeah. So introducing those kinds of elements
would be a good trick in a football match.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good. That's like subtle. That's very subtle way to sort of show that this is a anthropomorphic. Kind of universe.
Actually, you just used the word that I wanted to ask a question about. Animorphs, the book. Yep. Okay, I love that series when I was a kid.
Yeah, Animaniacs. I know what you mean.
No, Animorphs. Animaniacs was awesome too, though. Animals.
No.
Are they anthropomorphic? They're not, are they? Because that's just humans turning into animals. That's the feral side.
Yeah, that's a good. I've never actually thought about that.
Because
I used to
they
love
are
that series as well.
I mean,
it's
the
such
thing is, anthropomorphic is basically looking at something with the human traits in mind.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say if a furry with a feral character, such as like my Fennec character, that's still considered anthropomorphic because even though they're not physically, mentally they have a human's
brain.
I'm actually going to have to disagree with you there.
Mm?
It depends on your portrayal of the character, and it depends on how far if you do actually do role play with the character, or if it's just an image.
Once upon a time, but yeah.
Yeah. That feral characters, they're called ferals because they are ferals. In the sense that they are not anthropomorphic physically. They're not physically anthropomorphic. They're not walking upright with human fingers and hands, even though they may have claws and still refer to them as paws, and they've got the snout or the muzzle. They're still just a dog or a cat. They're not anthropomorphized, which literally means given human traits. Which I do realise...
That might be the biggest word I've ever heard. Hang on.
Anthropomorphic?
I can't say
obviously
it.
Never read Terry Pratchett, sir.
I have, actually. I love Terry Pratchett.
You have! So you should know the word death. He refers to himself as an anthropomorphic personification.
God, that sounds good.
Yeah, I could...
I know,
how can
right?
you say
You
that?
speak prettier than a $20 hooker.
Thank you, sir.
But that's fucking cool. Anthropomorphized.
I just had a near Whitwick experience.
Yeah, I cannot even say amplif.
I'm struggling.
I know the word though. Like every time I hear it, I'm like, yeah, I could totally.
Fucking
say
nailed
that.
it.
Look up the Zootopia trailer because it literally spells it out for you.
Okay, good. What is it? Zootopia. Alright.
Zootopia. Have you not seen that trailer?
No?
Okay. Interestingly, Zootopia that trailer is great because if someone goes, so what's this furry thing? You can literally just send them a link to the Zootopia trailer and go, it's that. It is that.
Cute. Looks so cute.
Yeah.
Disney!
Yeah.
I love Disney.
Oh, that does look cute.
See, I'm thinking I could probably get into freaking furries. This looks adorable.
Can
And
you
the border
make
collie
a
looks
purple
adorable.
dinosaur anthropomorphized? Did I nail it? I don't even know. Can you do a purple dinosaur and be part of the furry culture? Yes, you can, because it's a mystic. Bam, lawyered.
Yes, actually, you've just described Macrocelli's persona.
Damn.
Who was special guest at Furdu, and he draws big purple dinosaurs.
He sounds like my kind of guy.
Sorry,
I love
no.
purple dinosaurs.
It's
Well, I
been
love
done.
purple and dinosaurs, so yeah, I know I can't do it now.
I have this kind of fantasy as like a podcaster
Yeah?
where like I dream of a world where people send in like fan art and shit. And so I kind of want to see a fan art of just like our video layout. We all got our webcams, but we're all our anthropomorphic animals, our furry animals. And so like
Personas, so.
our
Well, if
furry.
people really want, I have reference pictures for my old character.
So I have this
I wanna be a
fantasy where
penguin.
someone sends in a picture of Fur Mod and Fur Victor.
I want to be a penguin.
Yeah, I want
Penguin?
to be a penguin.
Oh my god, you should totally be a penguin.
I love penguins.
I feel
The
like
problem is, purple penguin
characters-
seems too much like Club Penguin. My
Ugh,
penguin on
yeah.
Club Penguin was purple.
My Club Penguin was black.
I
That's
didn't play
racist.
it.
I don't know what Club Penguin is.
I don't know either.
Play it.
I'm looking it
I
up.
know, it's really
It is
bad.
it is a really, really childish version. I'm going to throw a name out here, Furcadia, but now imagine that as just penguins and very, very childish.
Wait, spell it out.
Okay.
Furcadia. That's okay. I'm going to have to go into that, I guess, because I mentioned
Yes,
it.
you are.
I'll be honest, I've never actually been on there.
Okay, I was a role player, so.
Yeah.
Furcadia is a game that came up quite a while ago. Well, it's been out for ages, but it's effectively a role-playing platform for furries. It always has been. There is multiple fields. There's like a fantasy zone and a sci-fi zone and whatnot. I haven't been on there for ages, but it was literally for people to like roleplay. People could create their own little dimension worlds and things like that. It really was an enjoyable thing. I used to play a lot. I don't have anywhere near enough time to play it. But the other point of it is there is specifically an adult section of that, well, there's an adult section of that, so I'll just leave it at that and not mention further.
Fair enough.
Why
So
not?
that would be the Fight Club part, where people don't talk about that part.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
that's what
you
got us
gotta wonder
to the bottom rung of the fandom ladder in the first place.
Yeah.
All
If-
right.
if you're gonna
Well, I
wonder
do have
that
a
way,
question
then,
about
yeah,
that.
tend to
Have
make
you
it-
ever seen someone put a fursuit on backwards, like a male, so that the tail is used for other purposes and he can wag?
What?
No, it wouldn't actually fit.
Wow! Congratulations.
They're made.
Jesus, big call on the show. Mazel tov
No,
to
I meant-
Ringo.
No, like as far as I know, the suits are fitted, so they only fit the one way.
Oh, yeah, that makes more sense.
No doubt someone's tried it. Again,
I was thinking,
Suits.
combine alcohol and costumes. Stuff's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
you got to remember, you're combining alcohol with $3,000 costumes.
Oh,
Yeah.
trust me, I've destroyed many $1,000 phones through jumping off roofs while drunk, so stuff still happens.
Was this phone an outward expression of what you desired your personality and soul to be?
Probably.
I don't think
Yeah, I got this
I've
great case. It's got a
expressed
panda
that.
on it and everything.
Oh my god, I totally
I
want to
believe
be a
you're a
panda.
penguin, sir.
I totally want to be a panda now.
Panda's a pretty boss. Yeah.
Yeah, pandas are pretty cool.
That's all right. Okay, well, getting back into the fur thing, when you do Furdo, or not Furdo, now I'm confused, the podcast.
Furballd.
Furballd, have you ever done it dressed up? In Fursona.
Well, we don't have. Again, I'm not the first.
Killick doesn't dress, mod.
Isn't
true.
The fursuits, and Sepko definitely not. Sepko, fuck. For the longest time, Sepko said that he was not a furry. He just liked to draw himself as a lizard person.
So he was a closet. He was a closet furry.
He was a closet fur. He fully admits it now, but there were times when he was like, "Yeah, I'm not actually a furry. I just enjoy hanging out with people and enjoy drawing myself as a lizard person." And I'm on a podcast with the name Fur in the title, which, admittedly, for a furry podcast, we don't talk about furry
going on
at all. We talk about games and stuff.
Yeah.
And Liam
I like
Neeson.
games and music and videos as well, so I'll probably keep listening. As long as you keep the content in that last 10 episodes. I haven't listened back, but the last 10 were awesome, so that's cool.
Unfortunately, it's the biggest regret for that podcast is that we didn't get this lovely beast.
Oh.
Yeah, the Dreamcatcher microphone, that's what I call it.
Yeah, it's a blue snowball. For the first 40 episodes, which is ridiculous and unacceptable, which is a year.
40 episodes, that is a year. I've just done a whole year of Viktor shows, and I'm up to episode 40.
Yeah, this was back when we were doing them weekly. We did them fortnightly now. But yeah, for that first year, we had this piece of shit $20 thing. And the sound quality on all those episodes, I go back now and I just cannot listen to them. I think they're awful. So I always say start from episode 40 of Furballd, where we have a decent microphone.
Yeah, no, I've listened to some of Tribal's first podcasts, and sometimes you just want to cry. Because it's I used to produce this, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, it's painful because not only did I have basically this sort of mic, the other people that I was interviewing had even worse than mine.
No.
So you'd have it clipping all the time.
No, that was partially my fault because I was using a laptop with a brand new webcam and everything set up properly. It's just when I recorded, I never actually put the Audacity to the really good microphone. I had it switched onto the internal
default.
The default. So he just got heaps of. And I'm pretty sure we can hear my dogs barking.
Like what he's going to have this week.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
That's what my voice always sounds like.
It's not this isn't my fault. Blame Mac.
Yeah. Well, see, I can deal with one. It's actually more of a problem with people sitting there going to their mic all the time. That was a big issue I had. People whacking their mic there's nothing you can do to cut it out. It's nigh impossible to remove unless it's isolated.
I can actually make Bo, cut it out. Cut it out, Bo.
Yeah. Stop it, you jerk.
There you go.
That's a bad Mr. Kitty. That's a bad Mr. Kitty. My trouble, are you actually going through that mic because you've tapped it and it's been like...
That's because I was hitting it pretty loud. I'm going through this mic. Or I should be. I bloody hope so.
Tap it.
It's a thermos.
Tap your good mic.
Can you hear
Tap
it?
it like a good boy.
Okay, well,
Good
the
hearing.
Audacity is recording through that mic, so we're good.
Alright, so Skype's using the shit one, Audacity's using the good one.
I don't know how that's possible though, because you should be barely able to hear me with that mic.
That's pretty impressive.
Because it's not even near my mouth. It shouldn't even be picking me up.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but we should get back on topic. This is really my job. You guys have fucking slacked off.
You know how
What's wrong with mic talk? We can have a little bit of mic talk on our Fur podcast.
You know you've gone off track when Mod says, "Hey, we should probably get back on track."
I'm the
10 hours later.
I'm not the hero that people wanted. I'm the one they needed. So just
Definitely not the one they wanted.
when you guys ask, you've probably looked at these questions. When you're streaming the podcast, have you ever done it? So here up is dressed, and I don't mean in fur. I just mean normally, and down there is relaxed.
Well, we actually don't stream the podcast. We record it, and then
so you
release
sit around
it.
naked in a room wouldn't really make a difference.
No, not really.
Oh, fair enough.
We don't have cameras. We just record onto a laptop. It's not live. We edit that audio. We get our intros and outros. I'm generally the one doing the editing.
Same room?
Yeah, we are in the same room. Yep.
Oh, that's fucking awesome. You guys should come to Newcastle every week.
No.
Well, I mean, 2 of us live in Victoria, so why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. No, but we are local to each other, so we do
Queenslander.
meet up physically.
Oh.
This is actually the first time I've done a podcast over Skype. I've actually always avoided using it because I've heard other podcasts, and it's not that it sounded bad, it's just the certain differences you'll get in the audio quality just grate on me personally when you'll get someone who's crystal clear because they're the main recorder, and then you get someone who's got a different microphone and therefore it's coming in just a tiny bit fuzzier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually use that as an excuse. Like, the podcast would be horrible anyway if we were sitting in the same room with a perfect mic.
No,
we
don't
do it
tell
over
them.
Skype.
Don't tell them, they'll know.
Oh, it's all the mic. It's actually a really good podcast. No.
But I mean, if you don't live locally and you are the guys that are the podcast, then Skyping is fine. Because I'm the expert on podcasts now, apparently. Cool, I guess.
You done more than us.
Just maybe.
Hang on a second. I'm actually gonna check this. I'm gonna work out how many Oslo episodes I've been on, how many Victor shows I've done.
He was in shows. Were you an act fur? Was that you?
No, I wasn't in ACFUR, and
I actually learned
fucking
something.
kudos for knowing what ACFUR is. Have you listened to it?
No, I researched it. I found out about it, and then I looked it up online.
You should
Because it was
listen
actually-
if you can.
I heard that I shouldn't listen to the first 2 seasons because they're deleted. Or missing.
They're lost.
Missing action.
Yeah,
Lost.
they're missing. They had some huge issues with their website and server over Christmas, and they have lost pretty much everything, which is tragic because they were so good. We aspire to be like ACFUR because they are so well produced and so well put together. They blow most other even professional podcasts away. Admittedly, the main guy, Creighton, that was not his first podcast. He did have experience. He did have the good equipment. He knew how to get sound files and music and all that. But they were just fantastic. No, unfortunately, the 5th season was their last season. They announced that almost 2 years ago now. Unfortunately, they still haven't been able to really release their final episode because of these hosting issues, and it's super tragic that we may actually never get that final episode where they're actually saying goodbye proper.
That's right. They can do a reunion. It sounds like love's there in the community, so they should do a reunion.
Yeah.
It's not really a reunion if they never really technically left.
Yeah,
That's
there was
true.
no goodbye.
Well, I did actually have. You said you listened to the Furdu episodes of Furballd. Those guys were on day 1.
On the podcast, yeah. I listened to it, yeah.
Yeah, that was Creighton, Carnival, and Dr. Kell.
And
Carnival?
I forget who was on day 2. I think Tiny Cat was.
No, day 2 was Jay Stoke, who
Singaporean.
is that author, my author friend I mentioned before, and also Saber. And then day 3 was Tiny Cat, who was so tired. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Tired
surprised
cat.
I should stay awake for the whole. Tired Cat. Logan Husky, who was my videographer friend, as well as 3 random guys from Singapore.
Yeah, I think they were pretty funny.
Who are now? I'm actually talking with Hollard at least quite often on Twitter. We share food pics because we had that huge discussion on food, and they live tasted Noodle Box on our episode.
It was pretty hilarious. Yeah.
They fucking hated
What
it.
was it? Singaporean noodle and something else, and they were trying to decide which was which. It was pretty funny.
And what was worse?
What was worse? Oh. No.
So yes, speaking of dragging off topic after just trying to drag us back on topic,
Sorry.
That's what we
Mod
do.
bro.
Hey.
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah, I was good. You go.
I just wanted to speak. No, I don't have anything to say. I just said by the way, just to see what would happen.
Fine. I had one specific question. This is just one that I'm intrigued about.
Yep.
VR. With VR
Virtual
coming
reality.
out, yes, virtual reality stuff coming out end of this year.
Yep.
Given the fact that, Second Life to some degree has become a big thing for certain furries, what effect do you think virtual reality, being able to actually walk around as your persona, will have on the culture?
Can I add augmented reality to that as well?
If you want,
Augmented.
yeah. Yep.
Because that's...
Shit, that's real interesting. And I did read that question before, and I did think about it. And it did make me think of Second Life, and that sort of... I've never played Second Life, but I do know what it is. It's is it still around? I mean, as far as the furry community considers, it's pretty dead. It was very much a late 90s, early 2000s thing. But yeah, no one really uses Second Life, except they might jump on every now and then for lols. But for virtual reality, shit, man, I don't know. I mean, we've already got fursuits, which is literally putting you in the suit of your persona. With virtual reality, I guess, I don't know. I'd have to ask a suitor about that, because I think half the fun of suiting actually comes from doing it for other people and being that character for other people. If you're the only one that's able to see it, then that might actually lessen the experience.
I'm thinking more like I listened to a virtual reality podcast, and one of the things he's been going on about is they've got chat rooms, which is literally you log in as whatever avatar you want, and you wander around and you chat with people. And because it's got full head tracking and everything, it literally sees you turn to them and talk.
Yeah.
So if you've got, say, 20 furries in a chat room, every furry is in their own persona.
Yeah.
You're seeing all the personas talking to you instead of the people in general. Would that end up being a big appeal for people? And if you
almost
bring it into
definitely.
augmented,
Holy shit! You could go the whole route and have voice augmentation as well.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm talking like this, but you'd hear Victor's voice.
Yeah.
No Russian mod bros, please.
Okay, we'll take it.
I would say almost definitely. But again, you'd have to talk to a suitor, but that is pretty cool. And actually, no, you're right. Even from a non-suiting perspective, that is pretty cool. But
I kind of want to do that.
From a non-furry perspective, that's pretty cool.
yeah, I mean, from any perspective, that's kind of cool. Just be able to put on any avatar you want. I mean, they already had that that Skype thing, which a mate of mine had for a while, and it would track your face, and you'd become like a demon, and then you could click next, and then you're a dog, and it would track your mouth and eyes. So
I actually had that on my laptop, but I was gonna. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, me neither.
But I had it on my laptop. I was gonna use it for an episode of Oslol, because when my computer dies, it'll be like, "Hey, my computer died, so this is actually all I could use right now. So I'm a burger. I'm just a burger talking to everyone."
Hooray!
And it crashed my computer. It was too much.
I mean, I guess that's the big thing is the technical limitations of what it can actually do compared to what you'll need to actually run something like that, because I won't be able to do it. I've got to shoot a laptop because I
just bought a
GTX
GTX 970 just so I can run an Oculus.
Those are some pretty impressive numbers and letters.
But it is a $479 graphics card.
Awesome.
It is literally, it takes up 2 slots and half my case.
Trouble, I'll make this a lot easier for you. Out of 10, how good would that piece of equipment be?
7.
A.
No. Out of money, how much would it be?
Yellow.
It's $480.
That's a good ratio.
I mean, if you're going above that, your price range is going to skyrocket into the grands.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the really good graphics cards are a grand upwards. The good ones are around that 400 mark, and then you can get something like mine, which is very capable, but about $100. But you're not going to be running your video games at ultra quality.
Well, let me put it this way: I just measured the graphics card running in it, before I started this podcast, and it goes, okay, there are 2 games that are already optimized for this. It brings up XCOM Enemy Unknown. Here are the settings. High, 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 ultra, high, 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 high.
Why aren't they all ultras, Tribal?
Because apparently it doesn't actually have ultra settings on most of its settings.
Yeah.
It also brought up, what was it? Shogun Total War 2, and it was just a list of ultra. Everything was on ultra and max.
Oh, yeah. Cool bananas.
See,
So-
I can't do that because I have people that come and fix my computer because I am old, unlike you young children with so much ahead, so much of your life ahead of you.
I built mine at the start of the year, not gonna lie.
I had to replace a power supply. That was me going, oh crap, which plug? But anyway,
All right, so a couple episodes ago, I'll just clue you in right here. A couple episodes ago, I was in Fiji, and that's the episode that everything happened. They talked about different clothes that people wear, which I won't bring up on this episode, but I'm a little bit upset that Vic didn't include me in this conversation.
He's talking
Yes.
about the legalization of same-sex marriage in
No,
US.
that comes up. Okay, well, now I'm talking about that. And my sister is, I'm a proud brother of a gay sister. She's been with her lovely partner Evelyn for like 5 years now. And yeah, I basically, before we get into the seriousness of the Supreme Court ruling, how awkward do you think a Republican would be if they turned up to a furry gay wedding?
Now, what you're
First
forgetting
shooting.
is that
There is furry gay Republicans?
a fully right-wing Republican love guns. I think you'll recall that. I believe it was Dick Cheney shot a man in the fucking face hunting quail. Now, I've never hunted quail, but as far as I know, they're about a foot tall. And he managed to shoot a man that was 6'5" in the goddamn head with a shotgun.
Pretty good accuracy.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
A little bit worried.
So, you're in the perspective of, the Republicans are surrounded by, gay people in weird costumes. Oh, they're so afraid. I think the furries should start running because the Republicans just go, hey, look, sport!
hey, I thought it was
Well-
a real deer.
Hey, and a lot of them are proud hunters as well. You know, it's one of the main reasons. One of the main reasons they want to hang on to their guns is because they're hunting, and now all these animals are running around. It's free game.
Yeah, pretty
That's
much
a little
it.
bit worrying.
That
is a
answers
little
your
bit.
question.
It does. Now,
Not comfortable at all, just kind of excited.
to mix things up a little bit.
Yeah.
So for all
Nuts
the
and
wrong
bolts
reasons.
wise, America's gone ahead with it. The South is fighting it pretty hard. Australia doesn't really have a South apart from Tasmania, and most of them
Oh,
are with
South-
No. Don't mention Tasmania. Shh. Tasmania never happened.
Tasmania is ruled by the Greens. They're probably the more progressive of the lot.
As
This is actually really true.
I
They've
just
so
wanted
got
to
the
say
big,
that
one of the
they're
biggest
all,
scientific
different.
institutions down there.
Mm-hmm.
And Cadbury.
Cadbury's good,
I
yeah.
think so.
So
And
one
apple
of the
cider.
things I worked with. Yeah,
I like apple cider.
Yeah, I just like onions.
So does Tony.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yes.
Like a.
I just like onions.
I just
Like,
look good.
He's our own personal little George Bush. It's fantastic. I can't
He's
wait.
fantastic, isn't he?
All right,
Yes,
we should actually not talk about Tony because tribal is legally not allowed.
Cool.
I work
Really?
for the government, so I can't really express opinion one way or another without, well, possibly threatening my job. So yeah, sure.
No, that's I totally understand.
Okay,
We'll move
you don't have to
right
say
along.
what trouble. I'll speak for you. That's all right. Here's something Trouble wrote earlier.
Loud
Tony
noises.
Signed, sincerely,
got a little awkward in here, guys. No, it's great.
Just like
Great
before
that
people burst through the door.
Has gone through with that. It's actually fantastic. Now they can focus on fixing their other problems, which is going to sound really terrible, but are legitimate problems. Admittedly, the whole same-sex marriage thing was not a huge issue. The murdering of African Americans kind of was. So
Yeah.
No, I'm 100% with you. And this is the first time it came up when everyone told me, they're like, oh, look, they've done it. And they're like, oh, the Australian government should follow suit and they should start passing laws and do this and do that. And I said, listen, we've already spent enough fucking money and time bothering with the argument. Just fucking legalize it.
Yeah.
And then say, hey,
Use
the
some other
moral
shit.
side of it, leave the moral shit up to the church. We're going to legalize it just so they've got rights like entering hospitals and shit like that.
Mm.
Do what you will.
That's
We're going to go fix the country. We've got some roads and shit to do. I'd be really impressed by that. But basically, I'm super psyched because I want my little sister to get married because it'd be a pretty cool wedding, I reckon.
yeah.
Right.
Now, it's a side. No, let me just cut in here. Is your sister hot?
Well, you want to fucking fight me?
Okay. Is your sister's partner hot?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah?
No, just kidding.
Alright.
No, just,
What, she's not? I don't think your sister would much appreciate you saying that, Mud Bro.
I think she would.
I don't think any answer you give would be appreciated at this point.
Yeah. It's one of those answers that should be avoided at all costs. So what I'll say is, at this state, the Premier of Modbro has no answer, and
Stop
we're going to
it.
move on to this point. Please stop asking questions and inflaming the
No,
topics.
you need to say more R's and then you're Tony Abbott. Anyway, off Tony Abbott.
I personally liked the like how like some of the infuriated American citizens were like making Twitter posts and stuff like that, like, oh fucking this government's going down the shitter, I'm moving to Australia.
And then there's that one guy who reposted and he's like, I don't think they understand our gun laws.
No, they don't. Also love the ones that were like, fuck this, I'm moving to Canada where the gays are not allowed to marry. Hang on.
That was the
Wait
best
a
one. That
second.
was the best one I read. I loved that one. I was like, fucking knee slapper. Oh, shit. America!
Yeah. They're a little bit sheltered up there.
I'm
Oh,
such
man.
a big fan of memes. Or memes.
It's okay, the stars and bars will catch up one day.
That's alright. Well,
Anyway, yeah. I think that's
do
actually
you have
a
any,
pretty good point.
shout outs or anything you'd like to do, Killick, towards your fellow co-hosts or possibly
And plug
other
your actual
friends that are
podcast.
creatively inclined?
Yeah, I'll totally plug my podcast, Furballd. You can find our website at www.furballd.com. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook under Furballd. Pretty easy.
No,
we've got a little competition.
Ballld.
Yes, there's no E in there.
Yeah, no E. Which
That
still not
got
sure if
that
we
got me.
regret or
That
not.
got me when I was looking for it.
Yeah, no.
Why isn't there an E?
I don't fucking know. The decision was
Is it
made
because-
3 years ago.
Is it because you like the D?
I don't know, mate. We just wanted it
then
to
why
look
wouldn't
cool,
they like
I guess. I mean, originally it had an apostrophe between the L and the D, and that was really difficult when thinking about email addresses and our website, so we got rid of it eventually. I can't remember why we left the E out. I think it looked cool. Who knows?
Well, I figured we'd just leave the E out and it looked like a quirky little tagline for us. Oh, no E's over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're right,
I
it
don't
does
know.
look cooler. I just tested
Yeah.
it on that page over there.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
if you do want to send us emails, you can do so at furballedletters@gmail.com. We're also, you can find us on iTunes under Furballd. It'd be awesome if people left
When are you guys getting on
reviews,
Stitcher?
ratings. Stitcher, I keep forgetting to look into Stitcher.
It's
No,
easy.
seriously, dude. I have to download
It's very
this podcast
easy.
on my computer and load
Yeah.
it onto my phone because I use Stitcher.
Yeah.
No, like seriously, takes like 20 seconds to hook it up with Stitcher. I think you just make an account and just put your RSS feed in there.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Although, if you have any podcatcher on your device or phone, we can usually be found through there. What else should I plug? I don't know. Listen to the
He doesn't know what to plug.
How about a shout out to Ringo?
Ringo, yeah, my poor darling Ringo, who's at work right now.
Oh my god, Ringo, and he's a dingo. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there's also Dingo the Dingo as well.
And Bingo was his
And
name.
Bingo. And a lot of Ingos.
No, I like Ringo more.
Alright.
Dingo's
No,
not-
I think Killick
Dingo's
likes Ringo
awesome,
more.
but-
Yeah, I think I like Ringo more. Ringo does actually have his own blog, which he needs to get back to working on now that he's finished uni. It's called Ready Players. It is a gaming blog where he
Ricky
sort of...
players.
Ready Players, possibly with a question mark on the end. Where he plays games, takes them apart and talks about them critically, why they work, why they don't.
Cool.
Question.
Very cool.
That's very good. Okay. Killick. Many appreciations for you joining us today. I feel very enlightened.
Hooray.
Before we finish, Mod, Bo, and myself,
Mhm.
what are our fur animals going to be?
That's up
I'm
to
going
you
with the
guys.
penguin.
I'm
You don't-
asking Bo and Mod, and then I'm going to answer as well. What do you
Mod,
reckon?
go.
Okay. Penguin.
What are your first names, guys?
Mod's a
Are you
penguin.
Give us some colours.
Purple.
Purple. Yeah.
No, you can't be purple. Ah, fuck. Alright, whatever. I guess I'll go purple dinosaur since he's
I'll
a
be a
purple.
purple dinosaur. I want to be a purple dinosaur.
Alright, back to my original purple penguin.
Damn it!
I ain't moving out of this.
Yeah, I'll be a panda. I like that. A panda.
What
Colours
colour?
are pretty.
Well, there's some TBH action going on in Tribal Scam. I'll be a red panda.
Do you mean you're a panda
actual
that is
red
red,
panda,
or
or-
are you a red panda?
A panda that is red.
What's
Cool.
What?
There's
Red
there
panda?
is an actual
important
species
delineation
of
to
red
make.
panda.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know how that's gonna work. So, fan artists, you start drawing that shit now. Which none
Fan
of you are
artists
going to do.
help
Which none of you are going to do because nobody draws fan art or listens to this podcast at all.
So, Killick, just quickly, mate. You've done a bit of creative writing. Have you ever done parodies or singing or anything like that?
Parodies of what, sorry?
Have you ever made a song, like a parody?
A couple of times, but I fucking suck at lyrics and poetry.
Oh, no, okay, so you've said you suck, okay. So recently Victor did the 7 Days of Victor, and during which he tried to write a song. Now, if you were doing a series, like
Did I?
first day of Victor, second day of Victor, third day of Victor, and you were going to do a song, a parody song, what song would you use? Like, it's the first day of... Seriously, Victor, I was sitting there punching my fucking phone going, use the 12 days of Christmas. It's
I
a
was
song-
doing that, but like, I already knew. I was like, on the first day of Viktor shows I gave to me a punch in the chin. On
You could've
the
done
second
something
day
amazing.
of Viktor shows I gave to me. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening to the All Random All Podcast.
And thank you to the Twillick over there.
There was no
Kill it.
Twillix on the show. And that...
Bo?
Oh, right, yeah, it's a wrap, yeah. One day I'll get it, I promise.
We're out.